Okay, y'all. We getting it together. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, we are live. I think having my iPad, having my phone, and the computer is really helping me. So, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lillian coming with another video. I know you're like, what's going on with the hair? Let me tell you. It actually doesn't look that bad. Okay, it actually does not look that bad, but okay, so I washed my hair. My wigs are over here. Y'all, I think I want to just do my own hair. You know what I mean? And my hair has gotten really long or whatever. So I've been playing in this stuff. I got this. It's the As I Am. And I got it in gold or whatever. And so this is what it looks like. But it's everywhere. I got it all over, like the diffuser, whatever. I can't talk. You know I can't talk. But anyway, I don't know. It just didn't give me the color that I thought it would give. But that is my hair. I had to pull it up. That's why we late. We have to pull that up, okay? Put a little headband on. This is my go-to. This is what we used to look like in high school, for real. Anyway, so, oh, dang, I forgot to do my outline text. I forgot to do the doggone outline text. Today, we are talking about choosing happiness. I'm gonna just take it off, okay? We are talking about choosing happiness. All right, so hold on, let me make sure that everything is working. Okay, all right, yeah, some of the settings, yeah, anyway. So today we're talking about choosing happiness. I feel like with so much going on in the world, it's hard for us to choose happiness, to do things, and to be inspired, right? Even in the face of adversity or whatever. But before we get into how to actually choose happiness, I want to talk about, what choosing happiness is not. And that is going to be toxic positivity, okay? Now, when you look online and stuff and you read different whatever articles, social media, everything, or even with talking with people, it's this emphasis on always being positive, always being positive. So really quick, I'm gonna read the definitions of toxic positivity. It's the belief that one should always be positive even when facing challenging or painful situations. It's the idea that negative emotions should be avoided and suppressed in favor of constant optimism. If you've seen that movie, what's that movie? It's a Disney movie, okay? And it was all the emotions. Hold on, let me look at it. I should have been prepared. Inside Out. Yes, okay, Inside Out. Joy was a character, and she was just doing a lot, right? She was doing a lot. She was trying to make sure that their human or whatever was always happy, even when things were happening to her, and the natural response would be to cry. She would come up with a joke, come up with something to remain and keep the person in a constant state of happiness. And over time, the series of unfortunate events, it led to her not being able to feel anything, like numbing and suppressing the pain and the hurt that she felt, okay? And so this is a really good Disney movie. I watch a lot of those movies because, again, I be having the kids in there. Anyway, and so how it manifests is dismissive, minimizing negative emotions, like, sometimes when you feel like you need to cry and your parents be like, be quiet before I give you something to cry for, but you want to cry, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, for them, it wouldn't be socially acceptable for you to cry in that particular moment, but that is somehow we teach ourselves to suppress our emotions in that particular moment. Or, things happen to you out in the world or at school or different things like that, and your parents be like, oh, never let them see you sweat. You hold those tears in until you you get home and because you want to, be seem strong. You don't want to seem weak or vulnerable to other people. You don't want them to ever feel like they made you cry and different things of that nature. Another thing is always being pressured to be happy. You know what I mean? Like everybody else is happy about a situation, but you might, like say you win, someone else wins a competition or whatever, and you didn't, but you want to be happy for that person, but it's not giving a happiness in that particular moment. Or you might experience something and all of your friends like, hey, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. Or being in a relationship, being gaslit. Oh, it's not a big deal. You shouldn't feel this type of way about this. You know what I mean? And then getting backhanded apologies or whatever. If that's how you feel, I'm sorry. No. You know what I mean? Like, that's the energy. That's the energy, right? And then it's saying ignoring or invalidating people's feelings. So refusing to acknowledge or validate someone's negative emotions, making them feel like their feelings are wrong or invalid, shaming or judging those who express negative emotions, making someone feel guilty or ashamed for expressing sadness, anger, or any other negative emotions. Okay, and so why is it harmful? Because I'm gonna do the right part, but I'm gonna say what I got to say. Okay, it prevents you from emotional processing. Like whenever I feel some type of way, I believe in feeling that type of way. You have to give every emotion, right, its due. Okay, should you be upset all the time? No. That sound like anger issues. However, like if you experience something and the natural response is to be angry or to be sad, you should give yourself the space and the opportunity to feel however you're supposed to feel in that moment. Feelings are subjective. It's depending on the person and it's going to depend on the situation at hand. Everybody processes emotions differently, and I feel like the issue is we are not processing our emotions. We feel like we're supposed to be happy and smiling all the time, especially even in like the spiritual, even at church and different things like that. They want to just keep everything on the up and up, but sometimes things are on the down. Okay, I believe that all emotions are equal. They're all just emotional response. Things happen. Things happen. Life be life. Okay. And however you feel, you need, like, girl, when I'm driving, okay, and somebody cut me off, right? Somebody cut me off. I scream right there. I'm like, ah, like in the car. You just have to let that out. You have to let it out. When I feel like I want to cry, I cry. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to explain to anybody the way how you feel or anything like that. It's just that's how you feel in that particular moment, and it's okay to feel however you feel. Happiness is great, you know what I mean, but without the pain, without the sadness, without the anger, you really can't appreciate the happiness, right? So it's important for you to process all your emotions. Okay, holding all that stuff in is how you get sick. You get all the high blood pressure, you get anxiety, you get the depression. That's me, and so you have to allow yourself, I call it grieving. Like if I had a boyfriend and I broke up with him, I have to grieve the fact that I broke up with this boy, or that he broke up, or things didn't work out the way I felt like. I have to grieve that situation. If I quit a job or whatever, I need a period of time to grieve whatever that was. If we had an argument, I need time to process it. Some people don't like to argue. Some people don't like going back and forth. Some people, they want to say what they want to say. I like going back and forth. I like arguing. I like I like that. I like it because you find out things about people that you wouldn't have never thought. Like when everybody is smiling, everybody is smiling. You can't tell who your real enemy is until somebody get angry, right? Somebody get angry, then they'll say something, but they always felt like that because they would have never said it if they never felt like that. So you need them to get angry. Sometimes we don't know each other until I see you in all your seasons. I need to see how angry you get. I need to see how sad you get, and I need to see all of that. What makes you tick? That's what getting to know somebody, right? But I feel like, we automatically assume that just because, you're always happy all the time, like it's always good. No, I don't trust people that don't get mad. I don't trust it. I don't trust the people that don't ever get mad. I don't trust this sociopath. Okay, I seen the movies, man. I seen the documentaries, the docuseries. Everything. If they are never getting angry, you've never seen them in all the seasons, something's wrong. You need to be able to see how people process their emotions, right? And what they do and what they say when they're feeling some type of way. That's a real good judge of character, right? And characters are not just one dimensional. You're going to have different subsets. So really, you gotta have, so it's talking about it creates a false sense of reality. That's what I just said, okay? Because if somebody is happy all the time, they're fake. Okay? They're fake. They're hiding it. It's in there. It is in there. Okay? It is in there. Sociopathic information, girl. Anyway, it can damage relationships. When one person's emotions are constantly being invalidated, it can strain the relationship and create distance. It make you feel like you can't ever express yourself. Or if you express yourself, it will be falling on deaf ears. That happens a lot in family. You know what I mean? You can't say what you want to say because oftentimes in families, the relationship or the love is seen as being conditional. They'll only love and accept you as long as you believe and act in the way that they want you to act, right? Yeah. So that's family. And then if you learn that in family, then you go out and you start dating and you get relationships that reinforce what you see what I'm saying? You're reinforcing what you learned as a child. And then you go and have these constant, repetitive relationships, okay, that reinforce all this stuff, and then you just unhappy. Yes. So you have to find your voice and be in relationships, choose relationships where you feel validated as a person. Okay, so this is not about toxic positivity. This is not what this video is about, girl. No. So an example of being toxic with the positivity is always telling someone to be strong, to think positive. Somebody might tell you to be strong, like say if someone passed away or something like that, and you have to handle all the finances and all, you know what I'm saying? Then you got to be strong for a little bit, but eventually you are going to have to grieve as well. You need your time, or someone saying think positive. It's just like, sometimes people can be dismissive and, just very rude to people that are experiencing pain. Okay, we don't want to talk about pain. We don't want to talk about the darkness of the world. The world is dark, okay? Bad things happen to the good people. Bad things happen all day, every day. If you watch the news, things happen. And to constantly be in a state of positivity without ever addressing the pain, the anguish, just all of the icky parts of life, it's a disservice to the person, to the individual. Like working in schools, kids don't know how to process their emotions, but they're being expected to be positive. I need you to do this paper. I need you to do this assignment, regardless of how you feel in the moment. And that's not realistic, because where are they going to be able to express? It happens as adults. A lot of times I thought that, adults grow up. Nope, they don't. They have the same processing and coping mechanisms that they had as a child. They do. They do. So whatever they developed as a child, that's how they process. And sometimes they just don't. They don't have any emotional maturity, And so that's what we have to address, the fact that we're living and we're working and we're moving around in life with people who are like that, Yeah. Moving on. Moving on. Another thing, they say, don't worry, everything will be fine. I'm going to tell you right now, everything might not be fine. Not at first. You got to be realistic. You know what I mean? But I get it. People just be they don't want to hurt your feelings or make you feel worse than how you already feel. Like, you know what I mean? And then sometimes people be making bad choices, right? You making bad choices and you want people to co-sign on your bad choice. no, that was a bad decision on your part. You know, we're not trying to be a hater. We're not trying to be rude, but we're trying to provide you with honest feedback. We support you, right? But sometimes things are not going to happen the way you want them to happen. Sometimes you're going to have to work a little harder. You're going to have to dig a little deeper. It's going to be a little darker before the light come out. I mean, that's normal, okay? Another thing, telling someone who is struggling with a mental health condition to just smile or snap. Now, I don't like that one. Okay, I hate it being a woman when, especially men, tell me to smile. You know what I'm saying? Or like working in environments, like you could be at work and they want you to smile. They just did something to you. They just said something to you crazy. And then they don't want you to react. They want you to just smile. And I hate that. I feel like it's dismissive, and that creates a monster. Now, I'm a monster. I really am. Because I be smiling, but I'm going to get you back. Yeah, I'm not a sociopath. No. But what I am saying is, now you done created a problem, you know? Like, no, I want to see the bad faces. Like, if something happened, the natural response is to look at somebody like they're crazy. But then when somebody says, oh, just smile. You look so better. You look better when you smile. That makes me want to fight, y'all. That makes me want to step outside for real. Like, let's knuckle up, because you tried it. People be trying you. You know what I mean? Okay, the other one, it says good vibes only, positive vibes only, to dismiss negative emotions. Now, I ain't gonna lie. At my job, I'd be like positive emotions, positive vibes, because here's the thing. It's not coming from a toxic positivity vibe, but like at work, people are negative all the time. And I've noticed that instead of doing something about their situation, they just want to harp on the negativity. They just want to have a parade, a cloud of negative energy. Okay? Because here's the thing. If you have a problem, solve the problem. You see what I'm saying? I solved the problem. If I have beef with somebody, I'm going to have a conversation with that person. I'm not going to go and just be talking to everybody around the situation. No, I'm going to come and talk to you in person. I'd be like, hey, how are you? So we finna get into it right there. It's nothing to just say, hey, so I heard da-da-da-da-da. What's going on? Is there something I can clear up for you or whatever? Yeah, but people don't like that confrontation. They don't like the confrontation. So I just be like positive vibe, because I don't want to hear nobody else's problems. Here's the other thing. Everybody got problems, but they don't want to solve their problem, but they want you to solve their problem. They want you to be the talking, the piece. They want to move you around on the chessboard, right? Can you talk to? No, I'm not talking to nobody. If it don't concern me, then it's not me. That ain't got nothing to do. If it don't have nothing to do with me, I do not care. Not saying that we're being rude. Like, I listen to the people that I need to listen, like my friends, my family. But like them people, positive vibes only. Because people be in their break room and they just want to harp and play the little string. Because here's the thing. They're not going to do anything about their situation. They're not. They're going to show up and they're going to keep doing it. And then the same person that they have a problem with, they going to be back in their face. No, you done got my blood up. You done got my anxiety going. I'm feeling bad for you. I'm like, real? That is so, you're not going to do nothing about no shit, your situation. So I'm not trying to hear that. Positive vibes only. Because here's the thing, you don't want to be like at work, the counselor for everybody. Everybody come in and they emotionally dump on you. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're going through things and they just want to talk about their problems, right? And every time you try to switch it up to a solution, every time you try to switch it up to something, what you can do to get out of your situation, it's not like they don't want the solution. They want to be upset. They want to be, sad. They want that. They want trauma. They want pain. They want anguish. They want depression, because that is who they are. They have married themselves to those emotions, right? And I cannot identify with that. Like, if things happen to you, yes, experience those emotions. But also keep in mind that there's a time and a place for everything. Okay? Being at work sad in front of people? No, because now they're going to say you mentally unstable. You see what I'm saying? That's called go to the bathroom. That's called I am having something in the family and I need to go home. Or there's been an emergency, something. Extending circumstances or something. Extenuating that's my favorite. Extenuating circumstances and I need to dip. Like, I have an emergency. That's what you do. Time and a place for those emotions. You know what I'm saying? At work, or just being in, I would say, like when we're in public with other people, share community and different things like that. You don't just go up to strangers and express all of your deepest, darkest feelings. Because again, that makes you look like you are unstable, right? Anyway. So yeah, at work, I definitely be like positive vibes only because I don't want people to emotionally dump on me. I'm a very empathetic person, and I notice that when you are empathetic and you genuinely care about people take advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can smell that. They take advantage of your good feelings, your good wishes, your good energy. I'm not going to say energy vampires, but very much so. They come in and they want to suck you dry. And then all of a sudden you like, why do I feel the way that I feel? Because I didn't feel like that until after I started talking to so-and-so. I didn't have these specific thoughts. I didn't have self-doubt. I didn't have this, and this until this person. I interacted with this person and now I feel some type of way. You see what I'm saying? I believe we all have our own problems. We all have our own problems. It is nobody's responsibility to make you happy, and it's not your responsibility to make other people happy, okay? Catch your tea. Moving on, and say, why is it so hard to choose happiness? Why is it so hard? Conditioning, struggling. When you are around other people who are struggling, or you have always struggled, you don't know what happiness is. You know, oftentimes we assume that happiness is going to be some type of a vice because you have a feeling associated, and that is how people get those addictions and different things of that nature. And addictions is not just going to be substances. It can be food. It could be multiple partners and different things of that. It could be a whole plethora of things, because the mind, like we talked about in another video, I know I was lighthearted, but the mind is so fragile, and it just depends on what type of combination, sugar, spice, everything nice is going on up in your head. What is going to give you your little dopamine hit? And it just is different from person to person. But when you're accustomed to struggling, you've never seen like what happiness is, never experienced true happiness, you can't define it, you don't know what it look like, it's gonna be hard for you to be like, oh, I'm gonna choose happiness. You know what I mean? Especially like when you're around, you never seen it. Nobody around you is happy, you know. And again, happiness is going to be different for everybody. The next one is external pressures. You see, you might have something that you want to do, but everybody around you, the things that make you happy go against your family. You see what I'm saying? Like, you want to go to a particular school and your family feel like, no, you should stay here, or you should do something else. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't go and do what you want to do because we need you here, or we believe that your time and your energy will be better served in this area. Okay. You might have some trauma. You might have some comparison called social media. The social media, because you get on the social media and we looking on there, and everybody they driving these cars, they taking these trips, you know. Especially like something that I'm experiencing is that, you know, turning 32 this year, 31 last year. And y'all, if you've been on my channel, you know that we have been having, like, I don't want to say a midlife, because I'm literally just getting to the 30s, but we have just been feeling so down, because it's like we had these dreams, we have these ambitions, and it feels like we have not made any progress toward our goals and our, you know what I'm saying? So, and then, you know, social media, everybody else seems to be doing better. But what we need to realize about social media, Instagram, and different things of that nature is, you know, people post the highlights of their life. They're not putting the sad moments of their lives. So they might have these things, not saying that they did something nefarious to get it. It's saying that they're not putting everything that they went through. You know what I mean? There's no play by play. They're just putting these positive things on there. So when you get on social media, you know, everybody is happy all the time, but that's not the reality of the world, you know. But don't automatically assume that, you know, they're not, you know, you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know. Not saying, because I never want to say that, you know, happiness, luxury or whatever comes at a cost. You see what I'm saying? I feel like it does, but it doesn't. I feel like we automatically assume that to be successful, to have nice things, and to be truly happy, there was some type of a negative, nefarious, evil thing that had to take place for people to be happy. And we feel like, you know, we get our happiness, our true happiness in heaven, while everybody else is getting happiness right now. And I could go on there and be spiritual, whatever, but I really feel like that is a true, like, that is propaganda. I should have put that in another video. That is propaganda, because you can be successful and you can be happy. Do you work for it? Yes. Some people work for it, some people don't. It's different for everybody. But judging happiness off of social media or trying to manifest happiness that looks like somebody else's happiness is not going to serve you, because you don't know what is happening behind closed doors. You don't know what they had to do to get whatever they got. You know what I mean? All you can do is try to look within and find something within yourself that makes you happy. A true version of happiness is going to be whatever makes you happy. That's that self-work, that self-development, that, you know, because we get on social media like, I want a Range Rover. I just saw a nice little car drive by, but it's just kind of like, girl, I don't know how to drive a stick. I wouldn't be able to do nothing with that. And I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to be doing a whole bunch of driving like that. I'm a passenger princess, you know? So, you know, but it's just like we dream and we hope for things that don't even make sense for us, you know? And you have to do that work. Next thing, self-sabotage and guilt makes it hard for us to choose happiness. Sometimes we don't feel like we're worthy of being happy, so we automatically choose relationships and friendships and dynamics that would keep us unhappy. You know, because again, we look on social media and happiness and true success or whatever looks like this person. I don't look like that person, so maybe I don't deserve to be happy. I don't have what they have, so maybe I don't need to be happy. You know what I mean? Or that could never be me, and all this, you know what I'm saying? Self-sabotage, and the self-sabotage can be so subtle. Like you're making choices in the opposite direction. For instance, I want to make YouTube videos. We need to make the YouTube videos. You go in the wrong direction. If you're doing something else, you need to focus on one thing. Sometimes we overanalyze. I know I overanalyze. We looking for a solution to the problem when the solution is much simpler. All you got to do is turn the camera on and you can start making videos. But what if people don't like me? Or what if people don't resonate with what I have to say? Or what if I don't feel like I'm making sense? It's not about whether or not you feel like you're making sense. It's about whether or not you pressed record and got in front of the camera. That is what you're supposed to be doing. It's very simple. It is very simple. Sometimes we make stuff so hard, you know, because we're self-sabotaging. We don't believe that we're worthy of having what other people have. You know, we're putting other people on a pedestal. Now, in the Bible, it say don't put nobody before yourself, before God, you know, and we were made in God's image. When we start worshiping other people, we put their stuff over our own, you know, and then we get sidetracked, you know, like we have to put our stuff first. Like we have to, I know somebody like, you know, messing up the words. I'm not. You have to put yourself first. You have to look within yourself, your your ambitions. You have to see the worth within yourself. You know, oftentimes we don't see the worth within ourselves. We don't feel like we're worth nothing. And that comes from conditioning. And I feel like the conditioning comes from, that's why I always talk about, you know, when you have a child, you have to make sure that they have a good, stable environment. Because sometimes if you leave them alone for a little bit, they get these negative thoughts and they keep saying the thought over and over and over again. That's conditioning, that's programming. And then they grow up and they don't think that they can do anything. They don't think that they're capable of anything. They just don't. They live in life on autopilot. I don't want y'all living life on the autopilot. Okay. Next one is saying mental health and burnout. Like mental health, that is something you can't really control until you talk to somebody. You know what I mean? Like you don't know why you're not happy. You know, you tried everything, you tried everything. You just can't figure out why you're not happy. Sometimes, again, the biochemistry in the brain is off, right? So then you have to go talk to somebody, or maybe you don't have anybody around you. You don't have a support system, so you have to go talk to a therapist and see if they can help you make sense of your life and different things of that nature. It really starts with you having to do that work on yourself. Okay. All right. How to actually choose happiness. Okay. First thing you gotta do. I know what chat talking about. First thing you need to do, you need to make peace with whatever is happening. Okay. I think the best thing is to acknowledge how you feel, what happened, and how you feel. Okay. Things happen. Okay. Things happen. People don't want to talk about it, but things be happening. Life be lifing. And you have to give yourself grace to handle that. You know, I like to bundle up, get my favorite blanket, and just cry. Just cry. You know what I mean? That's why I told y'all in my last video, I told y'all about the cycle, my cycle. Yeah, I like to just cry for fun, because sometimes you need an emotional release. You know what I mean? Like how you feel. Stuff be happening. People be talking to you crazy. Ain't nobody talking to me crazy, but I'm just saying things be happening, and you. Like sometimes you don't react to it right away. Sometimes you just kind of react to it a little late. But whenever you react to it, you gotta just let it flow. You just gotta, sometimes I like to listen to Mary J. Blige's Not Gonna Cry. I put a little bit of Jasmine Sullivan, Lost One. I put a little bit Girl Like Me. Look, you gotta put that on, right? Put it on and cry, and just cry. I journal. I have my journal. I got some stuff I need to write down now, but like I journal, I write stuff down. Why, like what happened, why I feel like this, what's going on. I really be journaling. I keep tabs on all of that. You know what I mean? Because you just never know what type of intuition you might get just from having an emotional release, you know. And oftentimes we don't trust our emotions. We don't trust how we feel about a situation, you know. Like, are you overreacting, or did she really try you though? Like, come on now. Are you overreacting, or did she really? I think she tried you. I think they was throwing shade. I think they were. And they didn't think that you was going to catch that. You caught it. You had every right to feel however you feel. You have every right, because if you start second guessing your emotions, then you confused up here, then you don't know what to do. You see what I'm saying? Oftentimes the anxiety comes from, you know how you feel and you know what you need to do, but you don't want to. Okay, the disconnect is you don't want to do what you got to do. You don't want to acknowledge the situation for what it is. You trying to still live the lie, but your soul, your psyche, your emotions, they know. Your body, everybody know. Everybody, we on the same page. You the one that's confused. You like, I want to keep this relationship. I want to stay at this job. I want to keep this friend group. I want to do this. No, that ain't what you're supposed to be doing, because everything inside of you says that you're not supposed to be doing that. Something is off. You have to trust You gotta trust it. You gotta trust the energy. Like, you have to. Okay? So yeah, I cry. I be crying sometimes. Sometimes I don't have a reason to cry, but I just want to cry. I just want to sit and meditate and be in peace and tranquility. And after I get done with that, I have a whole list of things that I need to get done. I have a whole list. Soon as I come out of the cave, oh, we getting it done. Period. You have to give yourself a controlled space, time, and opportunity to really process your emotions. People ask you, well, how do you feel better? You got to experience that. Some stuff you just got to go through. Sometimes it's just going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good. It's going to be very depressing. It's going to be very, you know what I'm saying? I give you a day. I give you 3 days tops. 3 days. We need to start lighting some sage, opening up these windows, right? Get that Palo Santo, get the incense, get everything, burns, get this stuff cleaned up around here. You know what I'm saying? Swiffer sip. I really love the smell of bleach. Yes, not, you know what I'm saying, to clean. I like Lysol, you know, a little Fabuloso a little bit. Get it cleaned up. You start to feel, I was going to say smell and I said feel at the same time. Don't laugh. Anyway, you start to feel better. Okay, I like to have lemon wax melt. It brightens up the energy. It really does. Okay, I'm gonna give you 3 days max. You have to feel and process those emotions. You have to. I feel like we go through life and we just holding it in. Everybody is holding it in. You're holding in the feelings. It's all in your chest. That way, when something happens, you know, you do overreact because you hitting too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, where did that come from? Like, you heavy-handed. It didn't take all of that. It did not take all, like, that interaction didn't have to go as hard, but you was holding it in. Don't hold it in. I let it out every single time. Here's the thing. In being a teacher, they tell you that you're supposed to do 3 positive things, like say something positive 3 times before you can tell a child something negative that they did. I don't believe in that because that creates a situation of backhanded compliments. I don't believe in that. I believe in letting people know right away. Now, if he just ain't gonna get it, then he ain't gonna, it ain't my fault. Look, I need you to get it together. I might say it nicely 3 times, but I'm gonna tell you on one that you need to get your life together immediately. Okay? Immediately. To the back immediately. Like, we need to get it popping. So it's like you have to acknowledge your feelings. If things are happening, you have to let people know immediately. Process. Make sure they're all good. But you gotta process your emotions. Okay? I think that we don't do that. We don't look into ourselves enough. We don't trust our emotions, so we can't process them. You like, I don't know, because everybody is gaslighting you, telling you that how you feel is not the way you, like, it's not what you think it is. They say it's not what you think. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but if it's a big deal, it's a big deal to you, how you feel, And then if you call somebody out on it and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. See, that's not an apology. That is called let's step outside. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like when you interact with certain type of people, you gotta let them go. That's the other thing. You process your emotions, but if it's coming from another person, from something that they did, and you're having a conversation with them and they're not, you know what I'm saying? Like they said, I'm sorry you feel that. No, see, that's not your friend. That's not somebody that you should associate yourself with. And sometimes we don't want to let people go. We don't want to show people the door. You see what I'm saying? Because holding a relationship, sometimes we would rather be in a relationship rather than to be alone. We don't want to be alone because we don't want to process more emotions. You see what I'm saying? People can't be by themselves. People can't, because they don't want to process how they really feel. They don't want to look themselves into the mirror. They don't want to do all of that. They don't know who they are. They need other people to tell them who they are. They need other people. So if you're happy with being in a situation where somebody is gaslighting you, not validating your emotions, like not willing to communicate, not willing to change, then again, what does that say about you and how you feel about yourself? Because self-love is never putting yourself in a situation where somebody could compromise you. Okay, your happiness, your being, everything. That's self-love, taking care of yourself. Okay, we are whole over here. You're whole, and anybody that is coming over with a hammer and something trying to fragment, trying to break you down, that is not the type of situation you need to be in. So you have to let go of people. So process your emotions, and after you have processed your emotions, you have to cut these people off. I don't care if it is your family. You're talking to somebody that will cut the family off. Okay, this is not soul food. Okay, what? I would have been on a yacht. I would have been on a yacht. We would have never been able to got to that point where Faith came in. She would have never been there. That sister, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. People like to make us an scapegoat. I can't remember her name, but it was everybody else in the family that was using her. You see what I'm saying? Using Vanessa Williams. They was using her. And oftentimes, if you bring up everybody's shortcomings and different things like that in the family or in a friendship or whatever, and you're just saying like, hey, this happened to me, and y'all are acting like nothing happened, like y'all are moving on, and the way y'all moving is like my feelings and my everything does not matter. That hurts my feelings, and they don't care. They don't care. They do not care. It's time for you not to care. Right? It's time for you not to care. It's time for you to move on. It's time for you to do what you have to do for yourself. And that is going to mean you got to cut them off. You got to cut them off. Okay? And you can't be afraid of being alone. Okay? You can't. Moving on. It says protect your peace. You got to. You got to. Once you heal yourself, you cut everybody off, or cut off the people that you don't got to cut everybody off. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You cut them off. Don't drink the Kool-Aid no more. You see what I'm saying? Especially because I fell into the victim of like, I healed myself and I thought my family completely healed, but then some people, everybody is not healed, y'all. Everybody, they're good at the verbiage, they're good at the show of it, but oftentimes your definition of healed, my definition of healed might be different. Mine is changed behavior, not having to have the same conversation over and over and over again. You see what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to tell you to stop hitting me. Okay? You should have got that on one. Okay? You should have knew not to even try it, right? But you seem to be confused. And we're not going to keep doing small group for stuff like that. Okay? No. Okay? I'm not going to say what I was thinking, but it was something by Pusha T. If he can't get it right, we got to send him back up there and let God sort him out. See? That's why I have to be in a controlled environment. Moving on. Okay. So, what can you do when you get your life together and you can finally start choosing happiness? Gratitude. Practicing gratitude. I like to practice and say thank you for every little thing, right? Because as much as things can be bad for you, somebody got it worse than you do. Not to dismiss your stuff though, you know, because I don't like it when people be like, oh, it could always be worse. It's people over there that ain't, you know what I'm saying? They might be experiencing stuff over there, but I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing, okay? And it's not cool. So yeah, that's why you have to feel your own. You have to, okay? But anyway, so be thankful and have gratitude for the things that you have. For the people that you have in your life that are good for you, have the gratitude. Be happy for those simple things. Like, it's the little things that really do add up. If you feel like there's nothing, I promise you there is something that is, I promise you. Something that I like to do, I like to keep a tally of things that make me happy or blessings that I have received. One of the blessings, thank God that all of the lights was green. Or thank God that I got a red light because I need to put some lip gloss on. Amen. Like that's type of stuff like that. I'm tired of driving and I need a break. You know, I'm tired of driving and I really need a break. Thank God for this stop sign because it just keep being green. But thank you for having so many greens. But now I really need a break. If you could just give me a stop, I would really appreciate that. Thank God nobody pulled out in front of me. Thank God I got a good parking spot in the front in the middle of the day. Thank God. Amen. Thank God nobody is trying me. Nobody's trying me. It's just me. Thank God we didn't bleach our hair because let me tell you. I'm feeling it. Thank God my hair is growing because I've been taking care of it under the wigs. You know, I'm really appreciated. Thank God that little spot that it grew back. It grew back. Amen. God is blessing us with hair. Amen. Look, thank God that those are the type of things that I be praying for. You know what I mean? Thank God they came and fixed my ear. Okay, because I would hate to have to go down there and talk to them in person. I would hate to do that. I wish that they would come on and fix my dishwasher. Still ain't fixed it. But maybe God is going to bless me with a new dishwasher. I'm speaking it. Amen. That's what you have to do. That is how I do my gratitude. Some people might do their gratitude a little bit differently. But I like to do my gratitude. Like, you know, thank God that we made it to work right at the time that we were supposed to make it. Even though we left the house. I don't know how my math be working, but we made it. Amen. And we didn't have no problems getting there. You know, sometimes there might be an accident on the road or different things like that. Oftentimes we think we going somewhere, but you might not be going where you think you going. You might not be taking the route that you think you gonna take. You don't know how you gonna get to work. You don't even know if work is gonna be on your schedule like that for real. It's on the schedule, but are you gonna make it there? I don't know. So every time we walk out the door, every time we roll out the bed is a moment for us to have some type of gratitude because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how the day gonna go. You don't know who you gonna interact with. You don't know. So we just be thankful and we pray for the unknown unknowns. Okay. So yes, gratitude, keeping a log, just saying thank you for this, thank you for that. And I feel like the more you say thank you for this, thank you for that, you know, more things happen. It's like you change the energy around you, you know. And if you're ever in a moment or a situation, conversation, you're talking to somebody and they are always negative, I mean, they are just draining the positivity, sunshine out of you, talk about a solution. Talk about, well, thank God, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And just try to pull things up a little bit. I promise you they'll stop talking to you. Because again, people are married to their trauma. I feel like there's a scientific study that says that if you talk about your problems or when you talk about things, it doesn't matter what it is. You could talk about the things and you experience it as you lived it. Okay, so if you experience something bad and you talk about it all the time, it's like you relive it, you know? So that is programming. So if you want to change how you respond or whatever, you need to change what you talk about. Okay, change what you talk about, change what you think about, and everything else. That's also quantum leaping or whatever it is. You know, I'm not gonna get into woo woo, but changing the way you talk and think is going to change your atmosphere. In the Bible, it says, speak those things that are not as though they are, and I think they will be. You know, yeah. So anyway, moving on. The next thing is saying yes to yourself. So prioritizing yourself. Prioritizing the things that make you happy. You need to, when you do your gratitude journal, when you say thank you for this, thank you for that, I'm so glad this happened, you know, you will find that the things that you're thankful for are the things that make you happy. And so you should seek more of those things out, right? More of the things that make you happy, and say yes to yourself. Prioritize your happiness. Put your happiness on a schedule. Okay, things that make you happy, say yes to that. Anything that you do, not saying that, you know, because some of the things that we have to do, some of the things that we are responsible for, we have to do, yes, but how can you make the things that you have to do enjoyable? You know, how can you find happiness in the mundane? You know, how can you make each day, that's my next video. How can you make every day feel like a day off? Yes, you know, so putting together a system that will make and prioritize your happiness. Again, it's going to be different for everybody because we all have varying interests. So the next thing is to move your body, okay, or breathe. I definitely believe in exercising, going for a walk, and being out in nature because first of all, exercise is going to help you to release the endorphins. Okay, Legally Blonde, Elle told us that happy people, right, that exercise, they don't commit those type of, you know what I'm saying. I don't want to mess up what I'm saying on the social media. Okay, but if you're happy, you're less likely to make bad choices or whatever. So exercising, I like going outside, getting some vitamin D in the sun, breathing in the fresh air. Because sometimes you sad because you're in a cubicle. You've been in the house all day. It's a drag. You need to go get some sunshine. You need that. We are not, as humans, we're not designed to sit at a computer all day, okay? We were not supposed to be scrolling all day. We weren't supposed to be watching TV all day. We were supposed to be active, moving around, socializing, and having a good time with our lives, okay? That is how you're going to choose your happiness, okay? Now, the next thing, I think that's pretty much it, but I'm going to say prioritize happiness. Happiness is not somewhere you always got to get to, okay? And I know I'm really long on this one because I'm still talking at 50 minutes, but happiness is not a destination, okay? Happiness is you. You have to find the happiness within yourself. I got this video idea from my dad because I was always like, what are you talking about? You know, because for me, I thought happiness was money. Because when I get the money, I'm happy and I can spend it. So I always prioritize the money over the happiness. But then I got the money and I was not happy because I was not happy with what I had to do or the sacrifices I had to make to get said money. So I had to find, what is happiness? What do I value as a person? What do I like to do? And then from there, I can find my happiness. You see what I'm saying? You do the happiness part first and everything else is going to follow. You know, that's why they say you pick something that you like to do because you never feel like you're working, you know? So you have to prioritize your happiness. You have to do the work, and every time you're doing your happiness, you have to make sure that you're prioritizing. And anybody that comes up to you and whatever they want from you is negating your happiness, it's a no. It's a no. You have to prioritize it. It's like once you get your little piece of happiness, you got to kind of prioritize that because people will always seek to take it from you. I'm telling you, they see you got some little happiness and they mad because they can't get it and they want to take it from you. So you got to protect your happiness. You have to prioritize it. You have to set boundaries. You have to do what you have to do to choose the happiness. Sometimes it's hard to choose happiness because you might be so confounded in your pain, right? How do you see the sunshine? You know, how do you get to the sunshine when it's just raining so bad? It's raining so bad. You know, whatever's going on in your life is just so painful. It's you know, and you don't have nobody around you that you can talk to, or you try to talk to people, they don't understand what you're talking about. Where do you find the happiness? Where do you find the happiness? You know, thankfully, I thank God that I have been able to come out of my little sadness, you know, because some people don't come out of their sadness. Some people never find the sunshine. They never look to the sky and they never see the sun come out for them, you know. And I want to say that regardless, it will come out. You have to work it slowly but surely, depending on how sad you are. You have to work it slowly but surely and take steps by steps and then eventually you will find your happiness. You will find it. It will come to you. I promise it will come. If you are under the sound of my voice, amen, the happiness will come to you. You have to choose it. You have to actively be in alignment with your happiness, and you have to just wake up one day and be like, I'm choosing me. I'm the happiness. The happiness is not outside of me. It's not somewhere else. It's not in somebody else. The happiness is me, and it is inside of me. Okay. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I talked your ear off for like 54 minutes, but I really wanted to make sure that I drove this home. Happiness truly is a decision that you have to make. Okay. And everybody gets there, on their own, but yeah. Okay. I'll see y'all in the next